When a customer says to you, the payments are going up too high, use that. When they say, it's a lease, I'm not going to own the car, remind them of the and then show them that I shared with you. And show them, and I guarantee you'll sell more products on leases. Lease boom or lease doom. It's all in how you look at a lease. I find that most F&I managers, or several F&I managers that I know, look at a lease like it's a cash deal. They don't feel they can make a lot of money on a lease. Well, let's face it, you're not going to make as much money on a lease as you would on a finance deal, but you might in a Highline store. But anyways, let's get back down to it, all right? It's all in your mindset. I know that a $1,700 product or a $3,000 product on a finance deal is going to be a lot less per month than on a 36-month lease or even a 42-month lease. It's double the price. I get it. And that mindset is going to destroy your ability to sell more product on leases. So go into every lease with the right mindset. If you build enough value in the product and offer the customer the right products, you'll sell more on leases. And I'm going to share with you the top 3 lease objections that I have, or ways to handle customers' concern with regarding lease products. I'm going to share those with you in just a moment. But I do want to talk about what we do wrong in a lease, most F&I managers. First of all, mindset. We look at a lease differently than if it were a finance deal. We almost look at it as if it were a cash deal because of the increase in payment. But if you do a really good introduction or so-called interview with the customer and determine what they're going to do at the end of their lease, if they're going to exceed the miles that they placed on the lease, the miles that are accepted on the lease, these are questions that you should ask. Have they leased before? What's their understanding of what's going to happen at lease end? These are questions that you can ask your customer. Lease companies, for the most part, they're more rigid. They're not as flexible as they used to be. Take Honda and Acura for an example. Several years ago, they went from $1,000 excess wear down to $500 because it was costing them too much money. And the cost to repair vehicles today, the increase in service hours and parts, it's more expensive to repair these cars. So you got to use this to your advantage. So don't think that a lease is like a cash deal and that you can't make a lot of money, because you can. And here's a tip, right? Non-essential and essential spending. I want you to think about that. I want that to set in. When you buy a car, pay cash, or finance a car, you have essential spending. That means you got to put gas in it, you got to maintain it, you got to make the payments, you got to put insurance on it. That's essential spending, whether you buy the car or finance the car. It's the same with a lease. But then there's non-essential spending. That's when, you got to repair a tire or replace a rim, fix a ding or dent, replace a windshield, the paint and fabric gets soiled and you have to fix that. If you're financing the car, or you're paying cash for the car, you spend that money on those non-essential components or non-essential fixes, and it benefits you. Because when you go to trade the vehicle in, or you're going to keep it for a long period of time, the money you put into that buy or that finance deal is benefiting you. But with a lease, all that non-essential spending only benefits the lease company or the next owner. I want that to sink in, because that's a fact. And you got to explain this to your customer. You don't own the vehicle, all right? And it's okay to say that. The lease company owns the vehicle, and you have liability, all right? You have responsibility when you lease a car. And this is one of the clauses I'm going to share with you. One of the most effective clauses for excess wear and tear, or even a tire and wheel or bundle program. Here's how it goes, okay? Leasing is like getting into an apartment. Think about it. When you rent an apartment, the landlord's going to ask for the first month's rent, security deposit, and last month's rent. And you may be in the apartment for a year, 2 years, maybe even 3 years. But when you leave that apartment, did you fix the holes in the wall? Did you replace any of the carpets that were soiled? Did you do anything to the apartment to make it the way it was when you first moved in? The answer is probably no. And you probably said to yourself, the landlord will rely on the security deposit to fix it. But if something were to go wrong, like with the roof were leaking or the air conditioner broke in that apartment, landlord's going to fix it at no cost to you. It's the same with a vehicle. But the difference is, when you lease this vehicle, there's no security deposit. And the lease company at the end of the lease is going to look to you to pay for damages. It's going to look to you to pay excess wear and tear. Here's another clause for excess wear and tear. You have 4 responsibilities when leasing a car. Number 1, you got to make the payments on it. That's no-brainer. Number 2, you got to put insurance on it. Number 3, you got to maintain it according to the manufacturer's recommendations. And I would recommend that you show them on the back of the lease contract what their responsibility is, because there's a clause in every lease that tells the customer what their responsibility is. And their 4th responsibility, one of the most important responsibilities, is that you have to turn it in satisfactory condition. So you want to illustrate this. Write that down. And then you want to do a pyramid, and you want to run 2 lines across the pyramid, because there's liability that everybody has when leasing. First of all, normal wear and tear, the liability lies on the lease company, because they'll pay for normal wear. And then you have physical damage. You're paying for insurance to pay physical damage, anything that's over your deductible. And then you have excess wear. And there's no law in the country that states what excess wear is. So you want to start showing them wear cards and stuff like that, which I'll share with you in just a moment. But you draw that pyramid. Normal wear is the lease company. Physical damage is the insurance company, and you're stuck in the middle with excess wear or use. You have to pay for that. Now, knowing that, doesn't it make sense to enroll in some of these programs to ease that burden and have them to pay for it? After all, you're not going to own the vehicle, and then you're going to build for like a ding or a dent, or mismatched tires, or bald tires, or scratched rims, or stained interior, or not maintaining the vehicle. Or what if you had a minor accident and you got a Carfax? They're going to ding you for that at the end of the lease. This is what you need to explain to your customer. The other thing is, if the customer says to you, well, the payments are too high, I'm already paying $600 a month, and I really don't own the car. Well, you do own the car basically because you're driving it for the next 3 years, and you have pride and ownership. I mean, you're still going to maintain it. You're still going to take it to the car wash and everything, right? Those are the questions you ask your customer, and they sit there and go, yeah, you're right. So you do care about the car, even though you don't own it. You're still driving it for the next 3 years or 3.5 years, and you want to keep it looking good. This is what these programs do. They allow you to keep it looking good. And if anything were to happen in the interim, it's going to cover it. I mean, after all, you don't want to pay for a tire and wheel on something you don't own. You don't want to have to repair a ding or dent before you turn the vehicle in because they're going to charge you for it. That's what this program does. And the bundle product saves all that aggravation because it will cover key replacement, it will cover windshield damage, it will cover paintless dent removal, fabric and paint treatment, tire and wheel damage. And for only $48 a month more, doesn't it make sense to enroll in that program? And the customer looks at you and says, no, that's too high, $40. That brings my payment up to $640. Then you go to the calculator close. I've shared it with you a number of times where you their cell phone or you hand them a little calculator and you say, there may be another way of looking at it, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. I see that you're somewhat interested in the bundle product. You're somewhat interested in the tire and wheel. I know it's going to be $40 more, $30 more, whatever it is, but there may be another way of looking at it. Before I share something with you, I just want to explain something to you. Again, go back to the non-essential and essential spending. When you lease a car, there's non-essential spending. Every dime you put into it is non-essential because maintaining it, paying the insurance, the gas, it's all benefiting someone else, not you. Now, most people have a mental budget. And what that means is they keep enough money in the bank to make their payments. And you say you're comfortable with the $600, you don't want to go the extra $40, all right? I get it. But as I said, there may be another way of looking at it. Your mental budget keeps that $600 in the bank every month. You got enough money to pay your mortgage, you got enough money to pay your electric, got enough money to put food on the table, and you got enough money to pay that lease payment. So you're comfortable with that. But you still go out every day and spend. That's called the discretionary income, disposable income, okay? I spend between $5 and $10 a day. How much do you spend on the average day, Mr. and Mrs. Jones? And they may say to you 10, 20, 5, 10, whatever they say. That's their disposable income. And you explain to them, you have them calculate it out. 600 divided by 30, which is the average days in a month, equals $20. You're spending $20 a day on that lease. And if something were to happen, you're spending unnecessary dollars that are going to benefit someone else. But for the additional $40 a month, which calculates out to just over $3 a day, and now it's $3 a day going to change your lifestyle in a way, shape, or manner? Because we're going to look at you, no. So once you just add the $40, a $600 payment, not have to worry about replacing tires or rims, repairing dings or dents, or having to repair windshields, so on and so forth. Now doesn't it make sense to enroll in the program? And that's how you get past the payments are too high. This is all a mindset. Go into every presentation, whether it's a cash deal, lease deal, or finance deal, with the mindset of opportunity. And if you build enough value and you explain to the customer exactly what I just shared with you in the manner that I shared with you, you're going to win. And let's get down to leasing a car. Ask the customer when they they have concerns over the products, what's your understanding of your responsibility at lease end? And they may say to you, I just turn it in. I've never had a problem in the past. And you explain to them that lease companies are not as flexible as they used to be because of the economy. They're more rigid. In fact, within 90 days of your termination of the lease, you're going to get a lease end kit in the mail. And that lease end kit in the mail is going to give you an opportunity to inspect the vehicle on your own. They're going to send an inspection card, or you can call an inspector to come out and inspect it. And regardless, if there's any damage beyond the tolerance of that so-called wear card, and you show them the wear card. And every manufacturer has a wear card. Here's just several examples of the wear card on the screen. Use those to sell product to convince the customer that they do have a liability at lease end. And then when they do decide to buy the excess wear or any other product, Sell them another product. Go after another product. If they do buy excess wear and tear or the mechanical gap that covers all the things the manufacturer doesn't cover during their factory warranty, such as brakes, one brake pad, fuses, hoses, light bulbs. Light bulbs are very expensive in vehicles, headlights, all that stuff. There's programs out there that cover that. Make sure you're offering that on your menu. And then if they buy something, go after something else. Even if it's theft protection or just a tire and wheel on its own or a key replacement on its own. And that's how you get multiple products. Because let's face it, once a customer decides to buy, they're going to buy more from you because they trust you. And you made a logical explanation as to why they should enroll in these programs. So when a customer says to you, the payments are going up too high, use that calculator close. When they say, it's a lease, I'm not going to own the car, remind them of the apartment close. And then show them that pyramid that I shared with you. And show them the lease wear cards, and I guarantee you'll sell more products on leases. If you want more information and you like what you heard and get a better education on how to sell stuff on leases, how to sell stuff on finance deals, and how to sell stuff on cash deals, visit us at www.prodprep.com. Until next time, go get them.